There we
There
go.
we go.
I suck at all things technology, so all my fans know that.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, you made it.
I'm here. We're here.
Hi.
Good morning. What time is it for you?
Oh, what is it? I think it's 8 p.m. here. It's like 11 a.m. for you, right?
It's 11. Yeah.
So basically early in the morning.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
I just
Been a while.
Yeah, I just had to get rid of my AC because it's so loud and it's so hot in here. So if I start looking like a sweaty ball of something, you know why.
I'm outside, so if you hear a lot of like airplanes and birds, that's also why.
That's good. Well, if you hear something screaming, I have a pet outside. Basically, it's a crow, I think, or a raven, and he visits us all the time, and he always sits on our balcony and yells for food. So if you hear that,
fun. I love that.
Well, how have you been? It's been a crazy time. I don't know if you remember me, but we did.
Of course I do.
In Munich, like pre-COVID.
Of course.
A lot has happened since then. So how have you been?
So much. One, I love your hair color. It's very cute.
You.
Two, I've been really good. Yeah, you're right. So much has happened since then. Like a whole pandemic worth of shit has happened since then. But I've been really good. What about you?
Everything's good so far. I've been very nervous because like the timing was like back and forth and I didn't know when it was happening. But now everything's working, so that's great. But yeah, so I mean, a lot, as I said, has happened for you. You released a whole album. I mean, we also have a boyfriend and a new hair color as well. So, did you like figure out any new hobbies during quarantine or anything? Like, did you pick anything new up?
In the beginning I did, because I was going a little stir crazy. So at first I was reading a lot of books. That was new. I was drawing a lot more than usual. But for the most part, like once everything started kicking back up, like once people felt comfortable to do socially distanced sessions, I was just working all the time. And I found that boredom was very, like just sparked a lot of creativity. So because I was bored, my brain was just always going. And I was like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to write this. I want to work with this. And finished the album and then, continued writing with other people on their projects, which has been really cool. So like, yeah, it was a weird time, but like I was very weirdly creative throughout the entire thing.
That's amazing though, because I know that it could be different for a lot of people. Like either you just fall into a hole, don't do anything, or you're like sparked. I guess that happened for you, which brought us an album. Was that like planned or did it just happen?
No, it wasn't planned at all. It just happened. It started with Lie Like This, and then from there was like, let's just keep exploring. Let's see what else is sort of lingering on in here. And then I don't even know, 6 to 8 months later, we had a whole album, and we were just like, okay, thank you, love you. This was fun. Let's do this again sometime. And
well, we all loved it, obviously. So,
well, thank
like,
you.
You also worked with your boyfriend on the album, right?
I sure did.
How was that
Mr.
like?
JP Sachs.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Great.
Very talented.
We did If the World Was Ending together, and that was the first song we ever wrote together, and we were like, well, like, that was fun. We should try it again. And so we did, and I wrote All Your Exes and Little Did I Know with him. And it's actually really good. We write really well together, and we both respect each other a lot, and so we don't take anything personal when like he doesn't like something that I do and vice versa, which is really nice, because then that could cause a lot of problems, but it doesn't, and it hasn't. So it's really special. He's a really incredible person.
Well, that's amazing to hear, obviously, because why would we not want you happy? Clearly we do. But anyway, the album is called Not in Chronological Order. But what was the meaning behind that? Like, how did you come up with that?
No, I think because I'm a songwriter, people always think that I have some like deep, meaningful something for everything. And to be honest, when I was putting together the album and going through the track listing, the songs just like weren't in chronological order of life events. So if it was, it would have looked a lot different. But I went more on feeling than I did on story, I guess.
Well, you do write a lot about your own life, like your own experiences, right? That's kind of like
All of it.
why
Yeah.
it's very honest, which is what I think most people gravitate towards with you, especially. But do you have like a favorite lyric anywhere? Like, what's your number one if you had to pick one?
Off the album?
Yes.
I mean, I think my favorite will probably always be Little Did I Know. Like that, the first verse, we started in our bathroom, and it was the summer before you. I thought love was Shakespearean, more or less a painful experience. Only ever real if you're delirious. The summer before you, I let it take a very little oxygen, not where I'd rest my head, more like an ottoman. Never had someone like you treat me like Solomon. I think that will always be one of my favorites.
I mean, yeah. Good choice. I would have probably said the same. Honestly, that's one of my favorite songs on the album personally. But do you have another favorite song? Like not lyric wise, but just generally like the vibe that you really like?
Better Than Mine?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean I have many favorite songs. My favorite song right now is this song called Here It Comes by Benny Sings. I listen to it all the time. I literally like in my free time when I'm not working, that's the song I listen to the most.
Well, are you going to go on tour after this whole thing dies down a little bit? Probably, right?
I hope so. I'd like to. I don't know what the world is going to look like. I hope that things go back to normal because that would be really amazing. I'd love to see all my fans. I miss them all so much. But right now, I don't really have any plans. I know once touring picks up, all the really big artists are going to tour, and it's going to be really oversaturated, and I'm not really sure where I fit in there. But I'm hopeful that I'll get to.
Well, I think we all want you back.
I would love to be back.
But I get it. I get it. As like I'm like a tiny artist compared to you, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to tour right away because all the big ones are gonna be touring. So
Everyone.
Yeah, get it. But is there
all
like
the
a song?
Postponed tours coming back.
But yeah, we'll figure it out when it gets there, I guess. But is there like one song off the album, especially that you're nervous to perform, or that you're really excited to perform the most?
I'm really excited to perform All Your Exes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for the bridge of that song because I can just imagine what my fans are gonna be like when they sing that part. I just feel like the gems are gonna really go off.
I mean, you guys have like an amazing energy. I was there. I saw it. It's fantastic.
They're the best. I truly
Honestly,
they're the best in the whole world.
I can see why. I think it was one of the best concerts I've been to. Not just because of you, but because like the whole vibe of everything is just absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Well, talking about All Your Exes, very interesting song concept. Very relatable. But the music video is pretty interesting.
Awesome.
I'd say it's very awesome. But what was like the main inspo for that?
So I had a couple like ideas, and I think because of the pandemic, I had, again, like just so much time to think, and I over this year got just a little bit more visual, and I had this idea for a dinner party where I'm like being sort of Susie Homemaker to JP and his friends, and I'm holding a silver platter of food, and then they pan in and then they pan out, and I'm holding the same silver platter of like surgical equipment, and I'm like messing with one of his ex-girlfriends. And I read a bunch of treatments, and the one that I really loved the most was from a director named Blythe Thomas. And I told her my like weird idea, and she was like, "This is so funny." She was like, what if what if we did the dinner party, but instead of it's his friends, it's all his exes, and they're all dead. And I was like, that's hilarious. We have to do that. And it was really dark and satirical and witty and sarcastic and funny, and we all had just such a good time. And the girls that were sitting at the table, they were such troopers the whole day. Like, the girl that was sitting to my left was so funny. She would lean over to me and be like, hey, just like shove a Cheeto in my nose. It's fine. I'm like, are you okay? Like, do you need a hug?
Maybe. That's actually amazing though. Is there like a story behind one of the songs on the album that you don't tell a lot because you don't get asked a lot? Like, obviously people ask about like the story behind all your exes and like the big main songs, I'd call them, but is there like a story behind one of the lesser known songs that you would like to share?
I mean, not specifically, no. Like Orange Magic or maybe History. So I guess like for my last EPs, I freestyled a lot of those songs, and I didn't really do that on this album, and unless it was for History. There are so many crows, and I think they're going after something right now because they're like all over in my front yard. Sorry, I'm like so distracted. I'm back. History, I wrote with my really good friend John Ryan, and it was the first time I got to sort of like freestyle on the album. He played this really beautiful guitar part, and I just started singing the course of History, and I did the have you ever broken a bone, and that was that.
So are you like more of a on the spot writer then? Like, do you just like come up with the lyrics and melody at the same time kind of, or is it like more a thing of like you figure out the melody first and then you write the lyrics?
I usually do both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have the melody, I have a hard time finding the lyric. Also, if I don't have music playing in the background, nothing works. I don't know why. It's
Okay.
almost like I like to equate it to, you know, when you watch a movie and someone's doing this like epic monologue and there's this like beautiful piano
Mm-hmm.
behind it, and it enhances it and makes it feel so much more impactful. Like if you took out that music, it'd be pretty, but it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel sometimes when I'm trying to write without music behind it. It's like just making a dry ass monologue. This feels awful. But yeah, and I don't write anything down. I haven't written anything down in a long time, and I think it's mostly because like I view writing things down as sort of like admin. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you're like in a role and you're writing, you're thinking, you're creating, and then you're stopping to like write it down, and then you're not like in that
Mm-hmm.
space for a second, you know, then you gotta like get back to the space. I don't know. It bothers me, so I don't write anything down.
You just record it then, or what do you do?
I
Do you just
record it, I remember it.
You remember it, never.
Yeah, I remember it.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I can remember. It's been a second, but usually like if someone sends me a song, I can remember most of the lyrics, if not all of them.
Oh, okay, I get that. But if I write them, for example, I just forget everything while I write it, basically, so I have to write it down.
I feel like for me, it's a good gauge of knowing if it's good or not.
Okay.
If I can remember it and it sticks in my head.
I just write really bad stuff.
No, everyone's process is different. That's something I've definitely learned over the last 10 years of being in the music industry.
Yeah. Well, is there like someone that you still haven't gotten a chance to write with, but you really would want to? I mean, obviously, I have one favorite contestant right below me right now. That would be my number one. But is there anyone for you that you would really want to write with?
I mean, long shot, obviously, but like pipe dream, I would love to write with Adele.
Oh, damn.
I think that would be like the coolest thing of all time of ever. And like Chance the Rapper, both at the same time. That'd be weird.
Very
Probably
interesting combo.
Who knows?
Well, you just released a feature as well, I saw.
I did.
Are there more features coming? Is there anything planned, or are you just like doing your thing right now?
Maybe.
Okay, but you can't tell me.
Who knows?
All right.
But I did just release a song with Trevor Daniel. He's very cool, very talented, was very pleasantly surprised and pleasantly impressed by him in the studio. So I'm honored to be on that song with him, and it's probably one of my favorite verses I've done in a while too.
Do you ever have like this moment in the studio where you get insecure? Because I can't really imagine you being insecure about anything. Like if you're writing or if you're recording vocals or something, do you have any like insecurities popping in from time to time?
All the time. I'm the most insecure person you'll ever fucking meet. Yeah, all the time. For the most part, like when we did Fingers Crossed, we had a completely different verse on the second verse, and he was like, I really want you to be on this song with me. Would you want to do that? And I was like, hell yeah, I love this song, and you're so cool. So I went back in by myself and wrote the second verse, and I was like, okay, how do I compete with thought she was an antidote, but she's toxic. Now my mind is a mess. It's a mosh pit. I was like, all right, so I guess I should just like go for it. And then, yeah, I put the headphones on and I just basically freestyled the verse and hoped for the best. But
well, it worked out.
Yeah, like I don't know if I could have done that if he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I needed to do that alone and go through all my shitty ideas before I got to something that I liked, you know?
Yeah, I get that. Well, are you still working on new stuff right now, or are you like taking a break from writing your songs right now?
I'm taking a break from writing for myself right now. I've been writing for a lot of other people lately, which feels really good. I love both. Like both have always been my favorite, and so getting to do that again and not being on tour and like you know, songs have just always been really special to me. So getting to do that with other people again has been really fun. So I'm doing that right now. I'm basking in the fact that I just made my first album. You only do your first album once.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to rush the process, and I want to take my time.
Someone just asked in the comments, I just saw that, and I think it's an interesting question. Do you have like a favorite person that you actually collaborated with so far? Like if you had to pick one that you had the most fun with on the song?
As an artist?
Yeah.
I mean, this is gonna sound cheesy and stupid, but obviously I'm gonna say JP. That was the first. I mean,
Yeah.
the day we met was the day we wrote "If the World Was Ending," and I got to perform that song with him and go to the Grammys with him and fall in love with him. It's a really special thing. We joke that like that's probably. It sounds like a really cheesy romantic comedy that will never get made because it's so cheesy.
But real life is crazy, actually.
It's real life, but like if you saw it in a movie, you'd be like, this is not realistic. This is so dumb.
Well, I'm really glad that it worked out for you so well, obviously. Well, I also hope that we're going to get like another collab with him maybe in the future. I think you guys work very well together vocally even. It's just really nice, so hopefully.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, so before we wrap this up, I'm just going to go through the comments real quick to see if there's anyone else saying anything interesting here that I can see right now. Let's see. Everyone's just really excited, I think.
I know. They're so excited because I never do Instagram lives because one,
really?
I'm super awkward. Two, my Wi-Fi never works. And three, I'm really awkward. So, you know.
Well, I don't think you are, if that helps.
Thank you. That's very kind. You haven't spent enough time with me yet.
Well, I mean, my applications are out. I'm very willing to try. Honestly,
hi, beautiful people. She said my Wi-Fi is doing really great. Actually, fun fact, I'm not on my Wi-Fi. I took it off.
Okay, that explains that, at least.
Yep. You know.
Oh, my boyfriend just had a question. What's your funniest fan interaction you've had so far? Can you think of one?
My funniest fan interaction.
Or something that you just remember.
I'm sure I've had many. My favorite one was probably this girl had us dressed as Stitch. She like brought costumes and we dressed up as Stitch and we took some pictures, which I thought was really funny.
That's amazing.
It was cute. Shut up. Yeah.
All right. Honestly, it's been absolutely amazing talking to you, but I don't want to keep you here too long. I do have like a time limit that I have to try to get through. So thank you for joining me. It was really nice to see you again. And maybe hopefully in real life at some point.
Yes, again.
Yes.
You know, that'd be nice. It'd be really nice.
So anyway, thank you for joining. Thanks for everyone watching, obviously.
Everyone, I love you. You're the greatest of all time. And it was really good to see you.
Thank you for doing this.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.